Hi everyone, my name is Naz, your ethical beauty babe, and I am so honored and humbled that I finally feel brave enough to shoot my first ever YouTube video. Thank you. Just to give you an idea of what kinds of content is going to be on here, obviously I'm going to share a bit about my journey into the content creation space as someone who's really concerned about putting my money where my mouth is. As I'm sure you're all aware, there is a humanitarian crisis, to say the least, in Gaza and Palestine, and I've made it my mission to replace as many products as I can with boycott-safe alternatives, with products that don't support Israel. And in these past few months, it's been really enlightening to create a community around that on Instagram and on TikTok. We're just a bunch of girlies that want to share safe products with each other, do advocacy work, a space where clean beauty really means clean beauty, and where we're not afraid to get political because everything is political. So there's definitely going to be a lot of that on this channel, but if you're looking for specific breakdowns or lists or infographics about which products to use, I highly suggest you check out my Instagram at BDSBabe or my TikTok at my name is Naz. I also need to give a major shout out to my friend and mutual Nihel, who has an entire spreadsheet of BDS safe brands that includes the reasons why they're safe or not safe, as well as these lovely babes who are really changing the influencer game right now. Now, before we take a look at some of these traitors, Gigi Hadid, I want to give you guys some background about which brands we are boycotting and why exactement we are boycotting them. Now, we must take it back to the OGs, the BDS movement. BDS stands for Boycott, Divestment, and Sanctions, and it is a global movement advocating for various forms of boycott against Israel for their illegal occupation of Palestine. BDS involves boycotting Israeli goods and companies, divesting from investments supporting the occupation, and advocating for sanctions until, well, Palestine is free. Now, if you're wondering if boycotts really do work, they do, sis. They do. This is straight from the BBC's website. I know BBC, but hear me out. As of early April 2024, McDonald's will buy back all of its Israeli restaurants after sales suffered from a boycott of the brand over its perceived support of Israel. Sis, it's not perceived. We've seen the evidence. Another example is Starbucks. Starbucks apparently has lost $12 billion since our boycott, so it's more than clear that these boycotts do work, which is why it's so frustrating to see people cross the picket line, or in other words, betray our boycott. BDSmovement.net is going to give you a full list of our targeted boycotts, that is, companies we're applying the most pressure to and putting most of our focus on. Some of these include Burger King, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Disney, Amazon, and, as the girlies have recently expressed, we think it should also include LVMH. LVMH stands for Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, and I'm just gonna let the ever so eloquent Selma, also known as Anna International, who has been a very important Palestinian voice right now, tell us everything wrong with this conglomerate.
I think that a really big company that's doing so much harm to the Palestinians is LVMH, and I do believe that LVMH should be added to the targeted boycott list, which includes Disney, Starbucks, and McDonald's. First of all, let's dig into LV's history and the history of the family during World War II, when LV collaborated with the Nazis. During the German occupation of France, LV had ties with the Vichy regime, which was responsible for the deportation of French Jewish people to German concentration camps. Now let's go back to the present day. LV's owner, who is Arnold Bernot, invests in tech firms in Israel. But not only that, but LVMH is actually heavily involved in the diamond industry, which, if you did not know, is a huge export industry for Israel. We should be putting pressure on the diamond industry and LVMH to divest from Israel and cut ties with Israel.
LVMH owns a ton of brands like Louis Vuitton, Rimowa, Fendi, Givenchy, Bulgari, Celine, Marc Jacobs, Tiffany, and Sephora. So imagine my surprise when...
Thank you, Sephora, for letting me share my Arab American heritage.
And before I hear anyone say influencers are not politicians, they're not world leaders, when was the last time you engaged with a world leader? Do you know your MP? Do you know your local representative? Do you have them on speed dial? No, you don't. But you engage with influencers on a daily basis through multiple channels. Hence why folks like Angie create initiatives like Operation Watermelon, which involves TikTok users going into the comment sections of larger influencers' videos, commenting things about Palestine so much that it shows up in the search bar. Here's a video explaining a bit more about Operation Watermelon.
If you don't know what Operation Watermelon is, let me enlighten you. It's when we go into creators' accounts, use their platform for them to raise awareness and educate people in the comments about what's going on in Gaza. The more that we comment, it flips their page and their posts to start trending for certain things that have to do with Palestine, and it gets people to start talking.
Swarms of TikTok users have taken over the creators' comment section using watermelon emojis, Palestinian flags, naming Palestinian journalists, or plainly saying "speak about Gaza." Some creators have taken the comments on board and educated their followers.
As you can imagine, getting aid into Gaza and then distributing that aid is very challenging right now.
24 hours after flipping Hank's account. So far, we've done Alex Earl. We got her trending for a ceasefire. Monet McMichael. This was my favorite, trending for Bison haircut because she was talking about curls. Alexandra Cooper, trending for Palestine.
One creator mocked the operation.
It's your duty, it's your responsibility as an influencer with a large platform, a huge following, to talk about these very serious world issues. No, it's not.
Yeah,
and I won't. I'm not qualified, certified, or educated enough to talk.
Just to be clear, I don't want it to seem like I'm picking on anyone or encouraging people to send hate towards any creators in particular. I do think it's interesting though how certain content creators can really leverage their identity as a primary means to grow their audience, but then later go on to betray that very audience when enough money is involved. Cue Salma.
I have so much to catch you guys up on. None of my outfits that I ordered for Eid arrived on time, including my Shein abaya. I ordered like 10 butterfly abayas and only one of them came in the mail. Anyways guys, now I'm gonna be heading to the Sephora sale to get some goodies, and I'll make sure to share some watermelon safe brands.
Here's my girl Yagana's take.
You also don't speak humanity. You too are only willing to talk about Middle Eastern swana culture when it benefits you either financially or aesthetically. I would show you Audrey Peters' TikTok, except she's had me blocked since 2021 for calling her out on her classism and racism. The girl who posted this is Persian Iraqi. You know, I'm Persian too. I checked your page. Nothing about the ongoing genocide.
As you can see, a lot of Arab and Middle Eastern influencers, unfortunately, like to only talk about their culture when it's convenient for them, when it fits their image. Or it's only when they're selling that identity to a brand in order for the brand to make money off of them. Okay, back to the Assad Sisters. If you don't know who the Assad Sisters are, they are 3 Arab American sisters, Amanda, Lena, and Lauren. Mind you, Lena has a very huge collaboration with Amazon for her modest clothing line, which we're also boycotting Amazon. Regardless, I want to talk about the most recent criticism of them, where folks believe that whether or not they realize it, unfortunately, the Assad Sisters' Palestinian identity may or may not have been exploited as a marketing ploy by Sephora. This video by Islam really sums it up.
Every year around Ramadan, my family and I like to do family photos, and that time of year has rolled around again, so let's get ready for some photos. And in honor of Arab American Heritage Month, I thought this would be the perfect time to share a little bit about my culture. So my dad is Palestinian and my mom is white American. Every year we pick a different theme for our photos, and this year we decided to wear traditional Palestinian dresses called thobes. So here are me and my sister's thobes. Y'all look so beautiful. Thank you, Sephora, for letting me share my Arab American heritage.
Here's a message to the Assad sisters. You know what? No. Scratch that. Here's a message to the Assad family. Would you like us to start a GoFundMe in your name? So instead of you guys shamelessly like collaborating with a company that is literally funding a genocide to your own people, we can cover these expenses, like these couple of $1,000s, and you can consider it sadaqah. Because, you know, being a rich Arab American living like in a big white mansion, mashallah, is always not enough. It's never enough. I find funny, like these 3 posted multiple videos in the same setting. One of them for Sephora, and one of them is this one. Let's watch it.
Eid, and every year we choose a theme. So this year we decided to wear Palestinian thobes to honor our brothers and sisters in Gaza. So let's show you guys our outfits. I love how these turned out. I know, they're so beautiful. We actually have never owned any before, so we just
The amount of out-of-touch audacity, and dissociation from real-life issues is summed up in this comment. Nisreen is a 26-year-old dentist from Gaza who lived through the genocide and just evacuated 2 weeks ago. And she replied in that video and said, "I'm from Gaza, and I'm just wondering, how is this honoring me or my people?" I talked before about Arab and Muslim Americans living in their own bubble, but we need to also address the Arab and Muslim Americans who sell their own people to the enemy. The Assad Sisters are the prime example for this. Something that you might have missed in their video when they said every year we have a theme. This year theme is a Palestinian thobe. Because for them the whole thing is just an act. Arab and Muslim influencers will always leech on the palatable stuff in our culture to do 2 things. 1, to become differentiated from the white society that they live in. 2, to use that in order to continue selling your stuff. For Arab and Muslim influencers, you're just a consumer and they treat you as such. And in order to sell you stuff, they will commodify their own identity, even if it means using their own people's suffering in order to continue selling your stuff. Because they are capitalists, and capitalists will always find a way to separate something as powerful as cultural resistance as wearing a thobe and separate it from its political roots. Capitalists like the Assad family will always find a way to co-opt any struggle and render it useless. And here you notice when they said that this is the first time that they had a Palestinian thobe. They literally bought a thobe and to commodify the thobe in order to sell you stuff that you're supposed to boycott. They use their own heritage and thobe so the capitalist company can take your money in order to continue oppressing your other brothers and sisters in Gaza. You see how this is messed up? They will never call for the liberation of their own people because it threatens the identity that they built around themselves as influencers. By co-opting the palatable stuff and like ignoring the radical stuff as liberation. Because you know, liberation is something controversial in the context of the white Western society, but you know, celebrating your culture is always something that liberals will clap for.
Celebrating your culture is always something liberals will clap for. It really makes you think about how emphasis on visibility and representation of minority identities can oftentimes overshadow deeper engagement with systemic inequalities and oppression. While representation is important and holds a lot of weight for a lot of people, I do think that it can distract or pacify folks from thinking more critically about more profound forms of exploitation. Not long after all the criticism against the Assad sisters, Sephora took down the video. I went on Sephora's Instagram page and Sephora Middle East's Instagram page, and it really does seem like they're deleting comments. I actually commented Free Palestine on one of Sephora's Eid posts, and let's just see if they delete it. I think they will, but let's just see. Lauren Assad's page, on the other hand, seems to have a lot more comments about the recent Sephora collab. It seems like folks are not going to let them get away with this, and rightfully so. This Sephora boycott is nothing new. People who've been paying attention and partaking in BDS know that Sephora and LVMH have always been problematic. Instead, we encourage you to buy your BDS safe products directly from the company's website. And it's not just LVMH. Estee Lauder and L'Oreal, in my opinion, should also be added to the targeted boycotts. The absolutely evil things some of these companies do will blow your mind. I have a lot about this on my TikTok page. And as always, I just encourage you to do your own research because this is way messier than you could have ever imagined. Okay, our next influencer is Aisha Haroon. I used to follow her, and let me just roll a clip.
The Sephora savings event just started for Rouge members today, and I want to go in and pick up a few items like restocks and hair care, makeup, and skincare since I get 20% off. And then anytime I'm in there,
20% off is like not that
items,
much.
so
It's not worth
let's
genocide.
see what we get today, but let's go to Sephora. And we're back. This is one of my favorite hair care brands, Ottawa Beauty, and they're black owned at Sephora, so I got a restock of their...
These influencers will go into Sephora knowing that it's not boycott safe, but then only purchase boycott safe products, completely disregarding the fact that anything you buy at Sephora is contributing to Sephora's overall profits and in turn LVMH's overall profits so that they can continue the horrendous actions they're doing in this genocide. They literally know what they're doing. And we're not stupid. It just boils down to them picking and choosing what parts of our movement they want to follow. Because this person, Aisha, has in the past expressed her solidarity for the Palestinian cause, but I guess she's just not committed enough, or the ads that she's doing with Sephora mean more to her. It's all performative. And it also does damage not only to the influencer's credibility, but to the credibility and legitimacy of our movement. If people from outside our movement see this and say, oh, looks like you guys aren't consistent with it, it just does damage to us. Moreover, Miss Girl, a $630 perfume, like in this economy, how out of touch can you be? And Guerlain at that, like that is an LVMH brand. I'm convinced that LVMH has fully sponsored and funded some of these influencers' entire lives. Here's Shaquille's skincare routine, which none of these are safe. Not safe. None of these brands are safe. This is another one of Shaquille's videos in which he seemingly has a collaboration with Zara. Ugh. Yes, the same Zara that was mocking the martyrdom and destruction after October 7th with what looked like bodies wrapped in white cloth, which traditionally is something that Muslims do after someone passes, as well as rubble and what look like pieces of buildings, with one of the rubble pieces looking oddly similar to the map of Palestine. Here is Yasmin's airplane skincare routine. And she's like staring into your soul.
Let me show you my quick and easy routine. I start off with my favorite Tatcha Silk Skin Serum.
Not
This honestly
safe,
feels
owned by
so
Unilever.
hydrating and it will
It's
give your
Tatcha.
skin the boost it needs. Then following that up with my Summer Fridays lip balm because my lips can get so dry.
Summer Fridays is not safe. The founder was seen posting some problematic stuff on Instagram after October 7th. None of these are safe. They're just not safe. Now, some influencers like Mina here, they do try to hold themselves accountable.
Salam, you guys. I'm not going to beat around the bush. We're going to cut directly to the chase. I feel like I owe this to you guys, so hear me out. Some of you might have seen a video that I had posted and it is now deleted. It was a video in collaboration with a brand called The Inky List, which is being sold at Sephora. For those of you who don't know, a lot of times with brand deals, from the time you sign the contract to the time that you see a post, it's weeks, if not months. So when I signed the contract with the Inky List, I wasn't aware of a Sephora as a whole boycott. I know that we were boycotting brands in Sephora that support genocide. I've only been aware of a Sephora boycott as a whole as of probably the last few days to a week. I obviously had my doubts on posting this video, but I didn't know how to go about backing out of a contract, what that entails, how to do things. So I went ahead and posted the video and you guys made sure to hold me accountable. And I do appreciate that from you guys. We should all hold each other accountable. And I, for one, will always take accountability. I ended up getting in touch with my manager and we worked it out and I ended up pulling out of that deal. So my video has now been deleted. I have backed out of that contract completely. I will always stand by boycotting brands that support genocide.
Now, aside from the fact that we are also boycotting the Inky List, I do think this is a great apology. I think we can learn from Mina about what it means to strengthen your community as a content creator and also hold yourself accountable when you do cross the LVMH picket line. However, in her video directly after this, we do see Chanel and Gucci product placement, which we're also boycotting, but maybe she doesn't know. I do wonder though at what point we're going to stop pleading ignorance because the information is really accessible. I wish influencers were more careful with the kinds of visual messaging they're sending in their content as well. You can say Free Palestine all you want, but if you're wearing a Tiffany bracelet, how committed are you? More than anything though, I really do think that post October 7th, a lot more people have begun to see the influencer economy for what it really is. Influencers promote a lifestyle around consumerism. Promoting brands and products are essential for their success, which is why it's so hard for content creators who don't want to center consumption to become successful. I know that so many boycotting babes are seeing content creation as just a hobby and not something to make income from. I've gotten so many brand proposals from brands that just like clearly do not know what I'm about. I literally got an email from an Israeli makeup company. For me, my morals and values are who I am. No amount of money, nothing is going to trump that. Not to sound super self-righteous because like I'm not perfect, no one's perfect, but I do love skincare, I love makeup, and I just wish it wasn't so dirty. I know some of this might seem petty or irrelevant, but I truly do believe in the power of social media and the power of influencers to really shape public opinion. I really believe in holding each other accountable as comrades and holding the louder voices in our community accountable as well, which includes content creators. If any content creator is going to prioritize a check over the thoughts and feelings of their audience, maybe we were never their audience to begin with. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you bearing with me in my first YouTube video. It would mean so much to me if you subscribed or liked this video or followed me on Instagram at BDSBabe or on TikTok at My Name is Naz. And yeah, thank you so much. Stay bold, stay beautiful, stay boycotting.